Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, my girl is back. My award-winning girl is back. Maddie Matlock's back. I got a bit upset because I watched the first 8 episodes and I loved it. And then they disappeared. And I just kept checking, and instead of episode 9 and 10, like 5 disappeared and 6 disappeared and 7 disappeared, and then we're left with 8 and then there was nothing. I'm like, oh, what's, like, huh? And then I looked and she was on Paramount Plus. I'm like, oh, great. I'm not paying for Paramount Plus. I love Maddie Matlock, but I'm not paying for Paramount Plus out of protest for what they've done to Star Trek. I will not pay for them unless they actually produce an actual Star Trek show. So yeah, I just thought, I don't know what I guess that's just no more Matlock for me. And then I just randomly looked, and there it was, episode 9, sitting there, beautiful as ever, titled Friends. Basically, Matlock is defending a woman who was wrongfully terminated because she was pregnant. She was accused of she would drive vans, and she was accused of like robbing her own like van and taking stuff. What she was really doing was she was turning her security cameras off so she could pee in the back of the truck in privacy because she didn't get toilet breaks and she was pregnant. So that's one of the reasons that they accused her of doing things, and you go through this whole drama and all that, and at first it looks like her friend is basically the guilty one who actually stood in for her for that day, and it was actually the one running the truck that day, and she's fighting it. She's not she's just like, win this case for me and don't blame my friend or take my friend down, and they're struggling to do it. Eventually it starts to look really bad and they realize, oh, okay, so she did it. And she does win the case because of some, I don't want to ruin it, but some other circumstances arise and so forth. But it's interesting the way it unfolds. But now, little Maddie Matlock, she's struggling with her friend that she's starting to feel friends with in the law firm. She was one of the suspects, one of the people who might have actually hidden information about the opioid crisis and prevented that being dealt with years before it was, and a lot of people died that wouldn't have, possibly including her daughter. So that's sort of the long sort of story for the series, and she's starting to get attached to this person, thinking of her as a friend, and she's having trouble dealing with the idea that she's still a suspect. Well, eventually she eliminates her. She's like, well, it couldn't have been her for that reason, and someone else comes up who might have actually been involved. So that's nice, because I was thinking, I don't want this to be some big betrayal at the end of the series, and maybe they kick out the people and save the firm by bringing her on, and these other people go and they get punished. I sort of like, it's very clear that she was brought on when she was young and hungry, and she wasn't responsible for what happened at the time. So that was nice, because I was wondering where that was going to go, because I did feel as much as it wasn't really fun that she had to hide stuff and go behind people's backs. It did. Obviously, the character felt conflicted about it, and it was easy to sort of be a bit judgmental of the character. But there's less of that now, because this sort of very harsh sort of character in the beginning, who's now sort of warmed up, and they're really good friends, and they've got a really good chemistry between the actresses. They've sort of pushed that aside, and they've sort of freed that up, so she's not part of it. And I'm happy for any of the other three people to be guilty and be taken down, so I'm fine. But yeah, it was just another great episode. The case was kind of interesting. It was annoying at first because this woman just kept denying the obvious, and it was like, how are they going to work around this person? Because someone knows somebody, so they've got to sort of help them, blah, blah. It wasn't like a money case. It was just taking it for the money or for the prestige or the challenge. It was someone that they sort of had to help because they, yep. So yeah. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Matlock. I love the show. I'm so glad I looked in between seasons, because I thought, oh, maybe the season just ended. Maybe it only had 8 episodes, or maybe they cancelled it. I looked, it wasn't cancelled. It's renewed for a second season, and it's got 18 episodes. So I had a whole 10 episodes left, and then I'm like, oh, great. I'm not going to get them because they're on Paramount Plus. I'm not paying for Paramount Plus. But now they're back on commercial TV. I guess there was a delay. Maybe it was a scheduling thing. Maybe they was holding the episodes back because they wanted to air them at a certain time, or maybe they had a delay or maybe a mid-season pause or something, or I don't know. But either way, she's back on, and episode 10 just dropped, or I just found it. So I'm going to go watch that. And I want to do my review of 9 before I watch 10, so I don't end up doing one for both and then confusing the episodes together. But I'm still talking, but I love talking about the show. I don't have any other shows that I actually like watching at the moment. I mean, Sex and the City's sequel series and just like that is coming back for a third season very soon. So that will be on streaming. I'll be watching that. I marathoned a couple of shows like Invisible Boys and the slightly droll Queer as Folk, the reboot of the American one. And then there's also It's a Sin. So those are all shows I streamed. They were good, but I didn't live with them week to week. I didn't really live with the characters and get attached to them. I'm attached to Matlock, so I'm looking forward to the next 9 weeks and watching, 8 weeks after this, watching all the other episodes.